In space of 2 months only, Africa have experienced 2 military coups, and both of these military coups are from the French-speaking countries. One in West Africa with Niger, another one in the Central Africa with Gabon. And all these military coups were led by the men who supposed to be protecting the president, in other words, bodyguards of the president. Unfortunately, that was not even the case because they end up arresting their own presidents and put them under the house arrest. Since these two countries had this military coup, France with the US with their alliance, they never approve any of this military government. For what reasons? Let me explain. France, it is a country that had colonized all these countries. The Republic of France, it is a country that has been imposing their leadership on these countries for many years. And now that these countries, they are now experiencing their first military coup, it is something that France will never gonna tolerate because it will make them lose even more control of these countries. They won't have a word to say over these countries. They won't be able to impose their leadership as they usually do time to time. Because these militaries who have decided to come and organize this military coup, they are kind of not wanting to work with France. That is the reason why you saw France had the courage to declare an open war against the Republic of Niger, saying that if they can't release the elected president according to them, they'll have to go ahead and invade Niger. Now, what did Niger did in return in order to avoid all this scandal? Well, Niger did exactly what Mali and Burkina Faso did before, by asking France to leave Niger with an immediate effect. Because for them, they realized that it was not going to make any sense in order for them to have people who are not willing to do things according to their choices. They asked France to leave Niger, but France did not leave Niger until now. People of Niger decided to go ahead and protest against France military bases which are located right in Niger. And people of Niger, they are more determined to go ahead and face this France military, asking them to leave their country peacefully. In order for us to understand what is going on, in order for us to understand how determined these Niger people are, so determined to go ahead and confront this France military base in their country, let us have listened to this report from Ahmed in Niger.
The security forces at this military base on our right are having a difficult time controlling the crowd. An unprecedented number of protesters have besieged the military base here in Escadrille. They want to move in forcefully to confront the French soldiers. An estimated 1,500 French soldiers are thought to be or believed to be inside this camp, and they want them out. One of the main defense and military agreements between Niger and France has expired last night. And so, because of that, they are ramping up pressure on the French to move out. And on the part of the military junta, they also have given directives that they want the French ambassador to Niger, whose deadline to move out of the country has expired about a week ago. They want to evict him out of his residence or out of his embassy, wherever he is, to move out of the country because they said his diplomatic immunity and status and that of his family have been revoked. Now, people here in Niger, including the military junta, feel that the country has not been treated fairly in the imposition of sanctions by the Economic Community of West African states. Analysts and activists say those sanctions are impacting more on the ordinary people on the streets here in Niger Republic. Remember, Niger is a country that is largely dependent on financial and food aid from the international community. Now, with the suspension of operations of non-governmental organizations, as well as the sanctions imposed by the African Union, the Economic Community of West African States, and other international institutions, things are getting more and more difficult for the ordinary Nigerian. Inflation has also gone through the roof.
Just because the Niger people are so determined to get rid of France militaries who are located in Niger, they end up giving a very big job to the military forces which were located to protect these protesters against France military base. Because these people, they've been chanting and saying that if France can't take their military out of their countries, they are ready to go ahead and face these militaries. And guys, you don't want even that to happen, because if that have to happen, a lot of people will die that day. So these people are not afraid to go ahead and face these France militaries who are located in that country. So when France was threatening to invade Niger, it's because they knew that they had their military based over there. They knew already that they were so ready to attack because they were already inside the country. And that is something that people of Niger could not tolerate anymore, because they know that in order for us to neutralize France, we need first to make sure that they are outside of our countries. And that's what people of Niger, they try to do. The France government of Emmanuel Macron don't want to acknowledge this military government, because they believe that the elected president who's in the house arrest is the right person who's supposed to be there. And as we told you in our previous video, that these people, they don't get to support a person who don't protect their interest. Ask yourself a question. What is France military doing in Niger? What are them benefiting from all this? Why do they keep defending a man that people of Niger, they don't even believe in him? Because if this man was really elected by people of Niger, I believe his people who had voted for him, they would have been on the street already and trying to put him back in power by force. But unfortunately, that is not the case. Instead of his people to come and support him, that is not the case. Actually, it is people of Niger who are coming to support the military. They are celebrating this military coup because they feel like it is the right moment for them to kick out France from their countries. Now, why is France keep on insisting if this person is not a puppet president that they had placed there in Niger so that they can get to protect their benefits? Now, for the fact that France don't acknowledge this military government in Niger, and Emmanuel Macron came in media for several times, keep on saying that he's in contact with the elected president. They've been talking almost every day. That was something that did not sit okay with the current military government in Niger. They had to come back and respond back to Emmanuel Macron when they said this.
The government of the Republic of Niger has followed with dismay the remarks made by the President of the French Republic during his address to the French ambassadors. These remarks constitute a further blatant interference in Niger's internal affairs.
So France, he has become an unwanted guest that does not want to leave. As we said in our title, France, it is an empire, a giant empire that does not want to collapse in Africa. Because regardless of how Africans, they don't want to have this France among them, France don't want to leave Africa. But for what reasons? We'll discuss that in a bit. But what will happen if France does not want to leave Niger? That is the question we need to discuss. Because as we're talking right now, as you just get to see in the report that in Niger, people of Niger, they are now coming forward to make it even more clear that they don't want to see France among themselves. They went on and surrounded the whole French military base, asking them to leave the country. And they've been doing this for days now, and we're talking about more than 10,000 of people who are coming each and every day out to make sure that they protest peacefully, asking for France to leave their country. These people, they've been displaying the French coffin, bearing the French flags. And for them bearing these France flags, it is a symbol of showing that they are tired of France and they don't want to have any relationship or anything to do with France. Women, they've been using cooking pots and pans, hitting it around, asking for France to leave.
They defy our governments, they defy our laws, and they, who call themselves Democrats, do not respect democracy. That's why we women thought that the men insisted, they persisted. We planned to change the order of departure to bring out our utensils to come to make noise so that the message can pass. That they say that it is not the men, it is all the Nigerians who demand their departure.
That was not all. Guess what again? They have set up a stage around the France military base, and they've been performing by people who've been sleeping outside there for more than 2 days now, singing, playing music, asking for France to leave their country. These people are so determined. They said that they won't leave until France with their military have to leave.
France will leave. This is our home. They are going to leave whether they want to or not. If they won't leave, we are here. We are going to stay Even if it's 100 years, we're going to stay here. We are determined and France will leave.
Guys, France was forced to leave Mali and Burkina Faso too. Those are two countries who had also military coup. Burkina Faso and Mali managed to kick France out from their countries. But unfortunately, that is not the case with Niger so far. France is refusing to leave Niger. Instead, they are even threatening the government. I'm referring to military government of Niger. They are threatening them to invade the country in case if they don't do what France is asking them. For how long will France government continue to hold up against Niger military government that had asked them already to leave their country with their people? Now let us look the link between France and Niger. France colonized the West country in 1898 and ruled for over 60 years. Niger ended up getting their independence in 1960, but regardless of this so-called freedom that they had received from France, there was still the presence of France all over the country up to date. France usually export uranium from Niger in return of what? Well, they did all that in return of sending their troops in Niger to fight rebels. And we all know who are the leaders of these rebel groups if it is not the West that like to put trouble among Africans so that they'll get a better excuses for them to come and loot Africa. But as for the coup supporters, which is people of Niger, it says that they are fed up with the France government that always come to interfere in their affair and telling them what they have to do. Now let us go in the central of Africa. This time we're in Gabon, where the military coup just took place last week. There is a serious calm in Gabon as we're talking right now. Gabon too was colonized by France, and they're having their military base in Gabon right now as we're talking. Again here you'll see that France did manage to place his militaries all over to the countries that they had colonized so that they'll have an easy way to control those countries. But so far, these France militaries that are in Gabon, they are so calm and they're not doing much about it because right now their all angers is focused on the Bongo's family for being arrested by this military government. We are talking about a family that had led Gabon for over 55 years. The family that was untouchable. Today, they find themselves under the house arrest from this military government. President Ali Bongo is in detentions by this same military government. His son Nurettin Bongo is being also arrested. And everyone that's been loyal to these families, they are all under arrest, which is normal, by the way. Whenever there is a military coup, you look for people who were the most trusted or for the so-called leader that you want to take down. Those are the people that you need to have control of them before they come to destroy whatever you had planned for. But when all this is happening, on the other side, the Republic of Gabon had a new president. The Republic of Gabon, they are now having a new transitions leader, or should I say, a new president who have sworn in.
Je jure devant Dieu et le peuple gabonais.
I swear before God and the Gabonese people to loyally preserve the republican regime, to respect and uphold respect in the transitional charter and the law, to carry out my duties for the higher interests of the people, to preserve the gains of democracy, the independence of the homeland, and the integrity of the nation's territory.
That is the new president of Republic of Gabon who just sworn in and take control of the country. But what can we say about this man? Can he be trusted by people of Gabon? Because already there is some rumors which has been going on. Apparently, this man, he is a cousin brother to President Ali Bongo. And that was the reason why Ali Bongo trusted him and put him as one of the men that he trusted for him to protect Ali Bongo. Unfortunately, that's not the case anymore because the man ended up changing and turning back against his own brother. Now, can people of Gabon trust this man? Because at the same time as we're talking, according to our research as we are having in our possession, there is already some allegations against him because the man is owing 2 houses in France which have the net worth of more than 2 million per each house. And when he was asked a question about this house and how he managed to make such kind of money as a military, his answer was clear. He said, I quote, "It is better to mind your own business and don't put your nose where it does not belong, and don't interfere in family matters." Was that a way of him trying to tell people that the money that he bought those houses with, the money that he got from his brother, it is a money that he got from his cousin brother Ali Bongo? Well, we know this is Africa and how things works in Africa. But the question is still to know, can this man be trusted by people of Gabon? Why is France quiet about him? Why France with the West, they're not putting a lot of pressure as they're doing in Niger? Why France is not threatening to invade Gabon as they're doing with Niger? Could it perhaps be that France, they are beyond this military coup in Gabon? Could it also be that France, they decided to abandon Ali Bongo and get rid of him by replacing him with someone else to come and take over Gabon? Because France, they have their military base in Gabon. Because France, they have all the so-called power that they believe they've been using that country for so many years. Why they're not applying the same thing as they're doing in Niger? President Ali Bongo gave this message calling for his friend to come to rescue him.
I'm Ali Bongo Ondimba, President of Gabon. And I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world to tell them to make noise. For the people here have arrested me and my family. My son is somewhere, my wife is in another place, and I'm at the residence. Right now, I'm in the residence and nothing is happening. I don't know what's going on. So I'm calling you to make noise, really. I'm thanking you.
Since he made this call up to now, we have not had that much pressure coming from France with the West. All they did in return as their response to this call from Ali Bongo was to ask this military government to not hurt Ali Bongo with his family. They have not asked this military government that they should stay in power. Do you think this man who just sworn in as a president of Gabon will hand over power to the civilians? These are the capital questions that we need to find out exactly what are the intention of this man. Is it there for Gabon people or is it there in behalf of France? Is it there to prepare also the space for another new dictators to come and take over Gabon, or is it the one actually who's going to remain there forever? Because we need to know exactly what is his position. In Niger, Hunde had to come and give at least the schedule on how they are going to hand over power to the civilians in the next near future. But that is not the case with Gabon, because so far this man just came and sworn in, but he never come forward and said that okay, we'll hand power to the civilians or we'll have to organize the elections in this near future. Let's hope that we did not get rid of a lion in order for us to invite a leopard to come in the house and start showing us. Because the only things I noted from this Gabon military government, it is only when they said that they are going to withdraw or put everything from zero, the Gabon constitutions about the mandates and the terms that the president is supposed to be having. So they are planning to do something that will take very long procedure in order for it to be achieved, because obviously, in order for you to go and touch the constitutions, you can't touch the constitutions as a military. Instead, it is the parliamentary that they have the right to go and touch the constitutions, of course with the mandate which they had been given by people of Gabon. So, will that took place? How is it going to work? Of course, we are observing to see what will happen, and we'll get back here again in the future to tell you exactly what will happen. Now let us talk, why is France resisting to not leave Niger? Well, France is refusing to leave Niger for one simple reason. If they have to leave Niger, they are going to lose the West Africa. Because remember, we are having Burkina Faso and Mali, where France, they are no longer having their power over those two countries. And if they have to let go of Niger, which means there will be another next French countries that will ask France to leave their country. And they are well aware that the Africa, it is under it revolutionary, and a lot of African countries, they are standing up asking for the West and France to leave their countries. When all this is happening, African countries, they are busy finding their new partners such as Russia and China. And that is what is driving them crazy, because they get to see that after all these years, they never come to this point whereby African countries will start asking them to leave their countries. African countries will start asking them to stop their ties or their friendship or whatsoever that's been going on in this so-called their relationship that they usually have with Africa continent. So they don't want to let of Africa. As I told you in one of our previous videos, that Africa, I compare it to this beautiful young lady that each and every man who sees her wants to be with her. So obviously there'll be those men who will come in her life to abuse her. There will be those men who will come to love her for real. There will be those men who will come and try to respect her as a woman. And that is how I see Africa continent. When he said that everything we are having, it is all thanks to Africa, because Africa, it is the right hand that been feeding us. So they have a lot to lose if they have to accept to leave Africa. Since they know that their life is in Africa, they usually get to win everything, all thanks to Africa. They usually get to become more powerful in the world, all thanks to Africa countries. That is the reason why you see France, they don't want to leave Africa. They want to become that empire that don't want to collapse. Well, I can guarantee you this. They are resisting because they don't have power to face African nations anymore. Africans have understood their game. Africans, they have now a clear idea of how these people play their games. Therefore, Africans are even more determined to go ahead and face France with their alliance that they are trying to impose their leadership all over Africa continent. Just as it is happening right now in Niger. People of Niger get to listen to the message of Pan-Africans who've been calling and motivating one another to make sure that we all remain united. The message is loud and clear. It is about time Africa start developing by its own, with their own people. But in order for Africa to do that, they need to get rid of everyone who usually disturb the development of Africa continent. And that's what Africans, they are doing right now. So France, they can try to resist in Niger or other places in Africa, but their days are numbered. And they are not gonna be able to resist the whole entire Africa, because the alert has already been ringed out there, and each and every African around the world, we are all united and we're making sure that things should happen accordingly. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video up to now. That will be all for today, because we believe that we had to come back here and try to give you our analysis about what is happening in these two beautiful countries, Gabon and Niger, in the west of Africa. So if you did indeed find anything important or beneficial in this video, don't leave without giving us your thumbs up. We really do appreciate, because whenever you get a chance to like this video, it will motivate us to do even much more better, and this video will be recommended to many people out there, so that this message can be spread all over the world. But if this is your first time to watch our videos, well, this is a family chat. This is African talk, whereby we sit down, we educate one another, we talk about matters that concern Africa, and we try to see on how we can help this beautiful motherland called Africa to go forward from development in different places, and for it to get developed in the way that's supposed to be developing after all these years. So if you don't want to miss any of our videos, you just have to make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you hit also that ring button, so that whenever we upload our new videos, you don't miss any of it. Well, that will be all for today. For now, continue to be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone. In order for you to be respected, run out of trouble, because we still need you here. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon. Ciao, ciao.